Okay, so it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since I think like 1:30, and it was like I was just laying there, and then of course that made Stella start moving around. I don't know. Maybe she's already doing it, and that wakes me up. I don't know. But anyways, it's always like we wake up at the same time, and I don't know if she starts getting up and doing stuff, then I'll start getting up and doing stuff. So, anyways, but I kind of want to lay back down. But then when I lay back down, my mind just keeps going and going and going and going. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna record. Maybe then I can lay back down. And then I started thinking, what do I have to do today? Nothing usually. I gotta take Stella for a walk. I gotta feed myself. I probably have to go to the bathroom a couple times. So is I don't know. And it's crappy here again. Like we had that one, we had that one weekend. It was real nice. But it's supposed to, we have to be right out this week. Supposedly next week it's going to all of a sudden go up 75, 80. And that's as far as I can see is just a couple days. But yeah, you'd think by it's getting close to July it would start warming up or something. It's so ridiculous. But it's just all over the place, all over the place. You know, everything is just all over the place. And one of the things I wanted to say is I want to kind of give this image is of like how things are happening. And it's so intense right now. Like on TikTok and stuff, when you go on there, the way I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like, I guess it just is like reading the energy. And so I've just been doing this throughout the whole thing. And right now it's just so intense and there's so much people realizing and people being upset and just the weirdest stuff too coming up like this this couple, this brother and sister who started a GoFundMe to bring awareness and to fight the legal battles so they can be married because they're in love. And so all just lots and lots of like weird things that really get people to, like I said, it's like setting your moral compass. It's like all this stuff is happening and it's all to get you to think about things. Think about like, you know, what's okay and what's not okay, what's okay for you and what's not okay for you. And it's like this whole reset, you know, because what was established in our society was not effective. And so now it's like a reestablishment, but it is each position is going to establish instead of it's like the tables turning. It is like this where the bigger side was pushing us all to conform, but now all of us are going to push back as being individual, because it's like no more conformity, no more obey. It is us pushing back on this energy that was trying to contain and control us and our minds and stuff. So energetically, that is this wave, this pushback. Something's in my eye. Um, that is this pushback, and that is like this vision that I keep getting. And this goes with a lot of the other visions, but this was like I'm going to try and explain this vision. So it is like it's like people look like think of a movie where the people all look like people, you know, it's like a movie, and then all of a sudden all the characters transition into cartoons, and it's more vivid and more bright and more animated and stuff. That is what the change is. That's what we're going through. We're leaving this density, this drudgery of, because it was so much denseness in order for that to be like that. But it is more than that, because it has to do with our minds and stuff. And like this transition that's pushing us into this, like this cartoon version of ourself is like you have your conformity side and you have your animated side, and people go more into the conformity side because their animated side, I think a lot of like in elementary school and stuff, like where, you know, kids would make fun of us for being weird or whatever. You know, there was places in everyone's life that began to push them in to feeling like they needed to conform in some way to be acceptable. So then people started losing this animated side of themselves, the side of themselves that was excited about life, excited about experiencing and stuff. That it's a lot more excited energy, and it is more vivid. Oh, yeah, like back then, when things were exciting and animated, the sun was bright and yellow. Everything was like picture perfect in our animated world when everything was fun and exciting. Except there was still nightmares and stuff. Like a lot of us lived in nightmares, but that was it's just weird because when you think about like micro, macro, everything being a representation of everything else, the sun losing its color is like our society losing, everything was losing something, you know, like even with our hair, which this is turning so gray. Like it is going to it's just it's like it just like fills in with this dirtier looking color as it resaturates. But then I don't know, now I for sure feel like I stopped the magnesium way too soon. And now I've been taking 2 a couple of times, and now I'm going to start taking 2 every day of the magnesium, because I've been seeing so much drastic. Oh yeah, and when I was looking at my hair today, I wanted to show all this new growth too. Like all of that. Because remember, I don't know when, but at some point, because I used to show, because it was going way back, and I was saying it's the radiation coming out of our phones why everybody's hair is receding back, because it's and you have to, there's lots of things, because I've said do massages, increase your blood flow, and you know, increasing your minerals inside. But a lot of people are really into the topicals. So there's a lot of topical essential oils and stuff you can massage into your scalp. Castor oil also, rosemary. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You know, make like a little head elixir or hair elixir or whatever, and do that. And then I also take biotin. And so anyways, there's a lot of new growth. This part is going to keep splitting. It's going to keep driving me crazy. But that is where I got my stitches, well, my staples. So that's why I keep thinking that that's splitting. How it constantly does that. It drives me crazy. I think it won't drive me so crazy when it's all the same color. So I don't know. We'll see. I can't see that good, but I decided today, because I keep seeing that ad for that honey stuff, and it's super expensive. But you know, I think I'm gonna try it. But I was like, well, I think before I do that, I'm going to hit it hard with the horse paste. So, see, I have to keep doing that. Oh, okay, so also with this thing was going into cartoon, on the visions and stuff, everything it keeps showing, it's like going super fast, and people, all the people are coming at me like super, it's like explosive. So that is another part of the imagery that I keep seeing. But so the I'm gonna start hitting hard with the horse paste stuff. And so many people, man, so many people are having all sorts of the C words. And now my daughter, she's convinced she's got one in her brain. I was like, well, all the studies are showing that it is parasites. That's what, and now that she understands that there's a group that's running this shit, Now I can say stuff like, um, those people own the media and they control the information. They own the medical, they own the corporation, they own every fucking thing. And so they only give us the information they want us to have. And so the information that is coming out that they're trying to restrict is the importance of natural homeopathic and stuff like that. There's no side effects whatsoever. And then you have and it can cure things like your heart and stuff. And one thing too, like if you got heart issues, it's your body's telling you you need to work on something. A lot of things, it seems like your body's trying to make you focus on it, focus on something, and take time out. Like in our society, we're so used to go, 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 that it is like I think when we change, it's not going to be like, oh, well, got to go take time for ourselves. It's going to be just a part of our life. It's not like you're going to have to go do it. It's just like you just do it. Like you always have a time to yourself, and everybody's will be kind of different. Some people go for walks. Some people like to just sit by themselves at sunrise. Everybody will have their own. This can make my God, it's very emotional. I can see the. But it's not just seeing it. It's like you can feel it. There's some of these things you can feel, and man, that's emotional. But it's needed in our society because then you have a communication with your body too. And so it's kind of like you have a heart thing, you have to take time to yourself. I mean, more direct in your diet and how you care for yourself. It's more of a focus rather than you aren't focusing on it. And in the process, to think about what ails your heart, what causes you heartache, what brings you pain. And in your soul is like, or in your heart space is like the center area of your soul. It's almost like there's energy. It's like a plug-in into the system that we go through, like this spacesuit system that we enter to go into this realm. And so we can experience, because if we were just, our light being, if we were just our soul, then we wouldn't be able to feel all of the different things. And so, that's why, a lot of the light beings and stuff, the people from other realms and stuff, what is their big pull to come here? Like, where people are like, well, why wouldn't they come here? Well, there's just a whole bunch of realities and realms to go to. And why would you want to go to one where it's like we have to be birthed in to experience, to get the whole experience so we can feel and stuff. So it is. And one thing too is I was seeing is that is so the, okay, let me see how because it's jumping around, hold on. So the souls, okay, the souls that were here, and then they oh, okay, so the with the people who like run this show, run this world, that they don't really care about us, and they don't really have the same way of behaviors as us. Like, we have certain behaviors, certain ways of adapting and stuff, and theirs is different. Those like the whole thing with the lizard, it makes sense because they adapt different to their environment than like a mammal. And so and they need different environments to it's weird too, because we're going to go kind of more into an environment on the planet that is more sustainable for lizards and stuff too. because it's going to go more hot and tropical once everything shifts around. So, but anyways, I had seen this video of this guy showing this town, and it's a cemetery. So he did this history. It's like Aurora, Colorado or someplace. So he was doing this history, and all this shit doesn't match, of course. But what it looks like is that the rich people wanted this land, so they built a dam to open and flood this town so they could kill everybody and then make it a cemetery because everybody's dead. And so it's behind like an Arby's or a Jack in the Box. It's behind some fast food restaurant. And it's all these people were murdered for the land, of course, because that's what all these people do. And so in the vision, it was showing me like that the people who run this place, they don't care about hurting us and killing us. Like, it's because this is like a game. This isn't real life. And is kind of like their realm where, they're kind of not just run it or whatever, but it's kind of like a bully running a high school. It's kind of like they push the hardest in that certain realm because there's lots of existence in this vibration realm of realities. Then and most just stick to themselves, just like humans have. It isn't us going out and trying to get in rockets and bust out and stuff. We all kind of just want to make our way and live our lives. Like if left to it, we would be doing things different. And so they but they're always distracting and creating their world. And so we all, as souls, we come here to participate for a lot of different reasons. Like I see lots of different reasons, but it always has to do with growth. So the thing is like, it's like humans they began to develop compassion and empathy by going through all these different experiences. So they would go through all these different experiences, and they started developing in a way like the universe didn't see coming. And so that is like a part of like why there's so much watching, is because it's like, oh, that's cool. It's like in a lab where you have all of these professors or lab people or whatever, all these people in white coats, and they're all doing these experiments, and then something starts to grow, and it's so fascinating and unexpected that it gets everybody goes over to watch. The excitement of this thing is going to grow, and where is it going? What's going to happen next? That is like what humans became to the universe. And so it is like the people who were kind of like in charge, because there's so much more coming out now about the darkest people. Like the people who come, I still say that this kind of like this Aborigines kind of it seems like it's like back from this Mongoloid era or some these Mongoloid type people. And it's weird how they moved up, and then they started saying Mongoloid was something else, but Mongolian, this race of people, this Mongolian people, the Mongoloids, and then they started, and maybe it's because they interfered with their DNA, and then when it pops up in our thing, they call it a mutation because they tried to get rid of it. And so when it pops up, they try and say it's a mutation, but it's really not. It's really, to them, to the science world, because even if there's two people in charge, remember who's writing the books and telling the other ones how to think. So there's a group think. So it is, and you have to connect to something deeper. And a lot of people, even when they start feeling that pull or that call in themselves, the crowd can contain them, so then they can't go outside of the box in their thinking. They have to stay contained. And so it's like an ego thing, is because they don't want people to laugh at them or think they're stupid or weird. And so they'll fight against their internal guidance. Whereas that is where I wouldn't do that. See, I always went with my internal guidance no matter who was laughing at me and who thought it was weird. It's like, I don't know how people can fight against their internal guidance. That's got to be so, there's no wonder we got people just a big old fucking scrambled mess. Because, like, yeah, damn, how do you do that? So, so the humans, they were, you know, the souls. Oh, okay. So the people who, I think it's like the Aborigines tribe. Like there's all these tribes, but there's an original people. Like the people like that were developed in the very beginning. And those people are the most connected to this place. Like they have it, it's like an inside of them. Then there was more DNA from other things and other beings and stuff. Like there was even like a lot of beings come in, and there was like all this doing it, everybody's doing it. And then there was a lot of hybrid crossbreeding and stuff. And then there was parts where that wasn't accepted. That was like where they say the gods were doing it with the humans or something. Like it's kind of like on the micro macro what we have, where adults doing it with kids. Like we were basically juvenile. And even if our souls were more advanced, our mind, because it was in this trap of this game thing, that we were more childlike. We weren't as developed. But that's part of the challenge, is to take nothing and make it something. And and it's not like one person could do it. It's like we all have to do it. So it's like there's lots and lots of Jesuses. And but they don't want you to know how important you are. They want you to keep thinking that it's somebody else. You're never good enough. And not only that, you need to ask this guy for forgiveness because you're so rotten. So, but it's not. That's just another way to keep pulling you from you. And so you have to feel the pull back to you. You have to feel like, you know, your importance. You have to feel the love for yourself. And you can't, if you don't love yourself, you can't give love. You can't give something you don't have. You have to learn how to love yourself. And that is something that has been like characterized through the development of mankind, is that they've been able to adapt and build these abilities and to build connection. And so you have and what I was going to say is there's so much information coming out to show that these certain group of people who carry this DNA throughout this time from the original people, that they have more connection and stuff. And it has more, I'm telling you, with the melanin, and that is, it's like having iron or copper or something in your blood or something. That is, the melanin definitely has something to do with the connection to the planet. And so, but there's way more stuff coming out, like with things like, I don't even remember them all. There's just so much stuff. So much information is going to keep coming and coming and coming at us. You know, that is going to be a part of this giant jump. And all the information coming in, you can only take in how much you can take in. And it can get overwhelming. So you just have to go at your own pace. And that must be why it's coming like this. why, it seems like it's slow. Like, well, it's so slow. Why aren't they so dramatic? Why don't they just do this and do that and get rid of them all? Which we know that they really are. There's like all these people in masks and shit for a reason. A lot of these people have already met their maker, and so they have left the game. But this is the show. But the show, the way it drags and stuff, I think is this saturation of information to lessen the blow, because the people, it is so much to take in, especially when you have been so tricked. Like, there's so many components to the awakening and coming into it. Is like being in the ocean, and you have to go slow per the how do they perf when you're coming up from like a dive, you have to go slow per feet. Like, you can't go fast. You can't just zip up, because you'll get the bends. All the oxygen bubbles will fill up in your lungs and you'll die. And so you have to go really slow and readjust the whole way. And that is kind of like what is happening to man, is this adjustment process. Like, that's why everything is kind of going so slow. It can feel so tedious, but really, when you can just relax, you do notice, like, man, there is a lot of healing and growing and waking up and stuff that's all occurring. Even though, like, yeah, we all want to get to the good part. We all want to get to the good part. Some people don't even know the good part's coming. But yeah, I mean, I want to get to the good part. But there is a reason why it's got to go slow, because as the things happen, it triggers things inside of you, because this is all about this healing. And so it triggers things inside of you that you need to release and let go of and look deeper. And that is also like about that with the sickness and stuff with people, why they need to take more time to themselves. And this is a part of the learning too. Is so many people, like I said, they get people thinking like, just go to work sick. You're just barely making it, but you got allergies. But just get there and go to work. It's important. What are you, irresponsible? They put all this stuff on us to to contain us. It's definitely like, I was also like I was a workaholic. I was very driven. Like, I wasn't somebody who would be calling in sick and stuff. And then, like, I would go to work sick. I go to work fucking puking. I get sent home. And then you got to question yourself, like, what the hell, girl? Why are you going to work sick? Like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just call in? I also, as a nurse, had a big problem just calling doctors and asking them stuff. Like, that was a whole thing too. Like, that nursing was not my natural, what is that called? It definitely wasn't in a natural alignment with me. I was very forced. That is one thing too that keeps coming at me right now. And this is kind of a convoluted, but okay. So, is I already knew I was facing something with the car, and I still made the choice to get my explant, which I can't even tell you how happy I am I made that choice. Choosing you, when it comes down to it, is the right choice to make, if you ask me, for whatever reason that is. But man, it is like, oh God, I can't even tell you. It isn't even just in my physical, it's in my mental, my emotional, my spiritual. It is like getting back to my own self and accepting and loving myself. It's so freeing. And so I'm so happy I made that choice. And, I knew that there was something coming with the car, and I have a lot of conversations that was going in the time, and they were telling me, trust and trust and trust and stuff like that. And I know I'm supposed to be trusting through all of this, but we'll start wanting to control things, and we'll start blocking our own trust emotionally. We'll start feeling like, well, we got to step in. Well, I told the universe, I told God. A lot of people think it's God. I say, I usually say the universe. If I'm saying God, it's because that is like an understanding. But to me, it's not just a singular being. It's an overall energy. It's an energetic source. It's like, and we all make up what it's like. What it shoots out is shoots us out. So it's all connected. And so the universe has your back and stuff, and it's not you don't have to beg it and say its name and all this stuff. The So when the people, okay, let me think back what I was talking about. God, and they're asking God, and what are they asking God? They're always asking God for stuff. Everybody's always asking, oh, okay, goes, oh, God, this is what I want. I want this, I want that. And so then when the universe or God hasn't stepped up to the plate in a timely manner, then we figure, well, we ask and he's not listening, so I guess it's up to me. I got to go get what I want. I got to make moves. I got to go out there and do it for myself because God doesn't listen. And so then we go and try and control things. And this is all stuff that you're going to always do. You're always going to do it. You're in wherever you catch on. It may be in your life review or whatever, but these are the kind of things that I think that we're here to heal. So we think, well, we got to step in and take over for God because he's not listening. And, maybe I'm not worthy or, whatever the case may be, why we feel that we're the ones who got to step in. Oh, yeah, I want to say this. Okay, I don't want to get lost on these two things. Because it was a story I just saw a guy talking about. His Uber driver was this old lady who, should be retired. She's out driving an Uber. She's talking to him and starts asking stuff. He starts talking about his life. And then when he starts talking about his wife having this genetic disorder with keloids and stuff, she starts saying, bring him to our Pentecostal church. We'll lay hands on her. We'll heal her. We got this. And the guy was so offended. And he's thinking, well, why the hell haven't they laid hands on you so you can retire? How you're out here trying to fix my life? And that is the spiritual ego that religion drives, of thinking, because really the keloids are telling her something, and she's the one who has to make the choice to heal them. Like, it isn't us just laying hands. It is people in their minds being ready to heal, being ready to deal with the stuff. Just like, your heart issue, any issue you have has a associated, it's like a card that has what you have. There's a picture that represents it. So everything has a representation of what it is you're going through. There's a reason, whatever it is, joint stiffness, pain, headaches, my eyes. Oh yeah, because I wanted to say something about okay. But on this, the other thing I was saying, so I went off on the one story with the guy, but the church, because the people do, because they do, like, they totally discount your relationship with your God, their God, and that you need them to pray for you. You need them to get you into heaven and all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, you gotta have respect for other souls and stuff. So, oh yeah, because you gotta step in for God, because God can't manage your shit, and you have to step in. So the people then start trying to force things, and the way the universe works is you're not supposed to be jumping into force things, because then you're trying to do what it is you think is best when there's already a set plan, and then you aren't relaxing into the plan and letting the plan lay out, letting the plan unfold. You want to try and force it. And so you aren't, it's like you're not with it because you're trying to force something else. So you're not really present in your life, in your game. And so when you are feeling like you need to force it because the universe or God's not listening, that is when you go off track. And so the more that you can relax into letting things play out, the more like spiritually productive that you become. And so to me, on this thing with the car. So I knew that there was going to be issues about the car. And I already, with the, especially with the shit ass weather, these long ass fucking winters in the past, and being over here and all the drama and stuff that has happened with quarantine and closing us down and me moving over here, being by myself, and then finding, like it's a big pain in the ass to get out of here, and especially at certain times of the year. And so, summertime is the travel time to be able to move freely. And then there's so much stuff going on. Like, it really makes me like a nervous wreck. There's so much drama going on in the roads. And I knew this was all coming. All this dramas and stuff, this was all coming. The stuff in the cities, the stuff, there's lots of protests. There's all sorts of stuff going on. But weird ass wrecks and stuff, and weird ass, like so much weird stuff. Like when you listen to people's videos, like I share some of them, there's so much weird shit. And so then it is like, makes you hesitant to be like, oh my God, do I really want to go enter that realm of chaos? Is all falling apart? Or do I just ride this out and let it all, like, which is nerve wracking because of how tedious it drags itself out. It's like, fuck, it'll be next summer. But I feel so sure, like, this is, like, we're at the end of this thing. Like, I don't think that the election thing is gonna go down because we're breaking free from that whole control, and the people who want to control us are all being taken out. So yeah, I don't think it's going to go like the way that a lot of people are expecting, but we'll see how it plays out. Because I swear to God, I thought January 2021, I thought helicopters were going to go down, they're going to be arresting all these, but like, oh, so, man, it drags, man. But really, the awakening stuff that happens, it's crazy when you see how it all works out, how it all keeps going. But so the, okay, I have a couple of things and I keep, hold on. So, okay, so the car, then I was thinking, I was having conversations, like I keep trying to say, well, no, I want the car to just be like $125, which it ended up being, I don't even know if they've even charged me yet. I don't even, I'm going to call them today and see like if they have any more answers or anything, because the part was on back order anyways, and he can't get the part. But he had said before I even go driving it off into the wild that he needed to do the thermostat or something. There's a couple of other things that are broken and needs to fix. And so I was waiting for that price. And so now I'm thinking, well, maybe they called my phone that I don't have anymore, because when I changed off a cable, I stopped having the Wi-Fi phone. So maybe that is the number she has down. I don't know, because I've talked to her. So anyways, I just keep thinking, well, they're probably busy. And I mean, I know they're busy. And I'm sure there's lots of people's cars that are doing weird shit right now, because the energy on the planet and stuff. And so anyways, it was making me feel like, this is my time to be going and seeing the grandkids. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I've missed like a whole year, it feels like. Like, last time I saw them, they were so little. And so, anyways, it's like, I really want to get over there and see them. And then, I don't know, it goes through a lot of things in my mind. Because this is like, oh, this is my girls' lives. This is my girls' reality. It's not even my reality. I'm not even there. I'm not a part of like their daily life and stuff. And so just thinking about all these different things. And uh, I was thinking about, and that's where I was thinking about, like, it's probably really good for the girls to, because it's been good for me to have time to myself and grow without everybody, telling me what to do or how to think or what, because families can become so containing. And so, um, it's been really good for my growth and my healing and stuff to be in this isolation, even though I feel so much like I'm ready to break free. I feel like I've been pecking at this shell from the inside for a while now. I'm ready to bust out. And yeah, I think that's why they say, like, the phoenix busting out of the fire is because that's how it starts feeling, man. It's like I'm ready to bust free. But then I don't have that motivation of, like, well, I got to control the universe. Like, I'm very strong in my belief that what is meant for you comes to you, it finds you. And I feel like that has been a part of my testing throughout a lot of this, a part of my healing and growing and stuff. So that is where I'm focusing my energy and thinking in this positive way, like, I'm sure this is really good for my girls to have this time where it's them finding themselves, like, even though they're in the same city, they're not, like, they don't hang out and stuff all the time. They have their own lives going. And so they don't have the family pressures. It's more of like they can develop into their own selves in their own family unit. Because back when we were all in Spokane, it was very like we were all in each other's business. And if everybody was in your business and everybody felt judged, and it was all girls, so it was constant drama. And except for their dad. And but there's it was the same thing. So I think he's like more the nucleus of, like, I don't know, because there's a lot of stuff. I think, there's other ways you could deal with some of this stuff, but everybody is on their own journey to figure out them own selves. And all the people who they deal with is the component to this learning technique. So nobody's doing it wrong. Any of us can stand back and say, oh, well, you should do it this way, you should do it that way. But really, it's their learning thing, and we have got to learn to, just watch. It's not our business. And so so thinking that was, good for them. And so this isn't like hurting anybody, like I'm not around all the time. And so this is like destruction or something. I feel like it's probably really good. It's really good for them. And, and then we don't have each other to just all sit and rely on too. It pushes you to be more, you know, more yourself. I don't know. And then the car. So, and then I keep looking up vans and stuff. And all of these different ones that I find, they aren't like very close. And some of them, it's like, fuck, I would get that. But then it's like, man, how would I get it home? And then I still would need to get it checked because I don't want to get another thing and be out driving and have it break down. And then the things I can afford are probably right on the verge of breaking down. So then it's like, okay, so what do I put my money into? Do I put it into just trying to find some van before the end of summer, or put it into fixing the car and just getting through the summer, and then wait until the end of summer when people are selling vans and stuff? But so much can change like so fast, and then it seems like maybe having a van would be way smarter. You know what I mean? But that is where you can start overthinking, like it's up to you. And that is where, like, I have to keep, is like, unwind myself and sit there and be like, okay, whatever is supposed to be is supposed to be. It's going to come to me. Like, something will come to me. And, I mean, the universe can do stuff like give you things without you even paying for it. That's the beauty of it, where everybody sits back and is always wanting money. Oh, just universe, give me some, or God, give me money. God, give me money. And then instead of universe, just give me what I need. And then even if it requires money, they'll bring that in too. So I keep thinking like, okay, well, they have a plan, and there's a reason why I'm in this separation from my kids. And even though I feel this big draw, like, oh, I just want to get there. I just want to get there. I want to hold the babies. I want to play with the babies. I want the babies to know me and stuff. Then, but maybe this is all about with their healing, and the universe knows what the hell it's doing. And I keep trying to like beat my head against the wall and push and push. Like, I got to get there. What am I going to do? And so anyways, I'm trying to approach this with like, okay, the universe has a plan. It's going to come to me. I don't have to sit here and keep forcing it. I don't have to drive myself crazy trying to, look at all these vans, look them up, and figure out like, how would I do that? When would I do that? How would I do this? And just knowing everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And me trying to control it is, a waste of my energy. And it's way more about learning how to just relax and know that the universe is working at its own pace. And whatever it's doing, there's a reason it's doing it the way it's doing it. And it's not for me to judge and say, oh, well, the universe doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. It doesn't know I was going to feel this way. It didn't know I was going to do that, And so I think it's way more about us challenging ourselves to be able to relax and not think that we need to control it or that we even have control, because we don't have control. That's one thing that I think is important for us all to, be able to relax into. It's out of our control. Like, how can you sit and drive yourself crazy over something that you don't have any control over? That's a dead-ass waste of energy. And so it's way more important to be able to just find your own peace. And also to know and recognize that when the universe is bringing you into a time of solitude, there's a reason. There's a reason that they want you to heal or look at something, especially the emotions that come up of what you're thinking about. Like the feeling of like I'm missing out on my grandkids, but then I go into like the logic of it and think like, even if I lived down the street from them, I would still be missing out on things. You can't just be a part of someone's life like that. Like, it's like I could do that when it was my kids and I was there for every little thing, but you can't when it's somebody else's kids. It's very invasive even into their life. And then I have to think like, well, what's missing in my life that I need to invade into their life? And so that part, I'll go through like the logical thinking about it, like, so that, why drive myself crazy about that? And then I start thinking about, well, lots of little kids, they don't, like, I'll even sit and talk to my one granddaughter, and I'll be like, oh, remember when you used to come and sit on my bed and tell me about what God was and who God was and stuff? And she's just like, no. And she was like 6 or 7 years old. And it's like they forget things. Like, she may have been like 5. She may have been 5 or 6. I'm trying to think. Because maybe it was kindergarten. But it was really cute. And she would come and sit and have these long, deep talks with me. And then she doesn't remember. And so then I think, well, there's lots of things. Like, I could sit here and get all, like, think, oh, well, they're not even going to know me. And because I wasn't there, every day for their first year. But really, I mean, there's a lot of things they don't even remember from that time. Lots of people don't remember. And it does have to do with the cards you're being dealt, and you don't have really any control over what cards you're handing out, what cards you're giving. And it's weird because it can have so many different things, because it can be the effect on the kid having like a domino effect. So I would be affecting my grandchild by affecting my daughter. who in turn would affect my grandchild. And that could be affected by rejection. It can be affected by control. So you could be there all the time and they could feel too controlled, and that would have an aftermath. Or you could not be there and then feel rejected and all the things. But those would be the things that they have that come up, or for them to heal. And then you give something else to the next child, the next person in line, and this genetic domino effect that we create. So it really makes a difference on how you look at it. And if you can look at it in a positive way of like, right now, so much is leading us into a point of independence. And it's hard. A lot of people are feeling super rejected and lonely and sad and stuff like that. But when you really start trying to understand, this is you defining you, and the universe is it's like setting the table for you so that you can have a good dinner party. And so it's you discovering you in the dinner, in the table setting that was laid out for you. And so there is an important part to it, but then the thing that comes up, like rejection or the universe hates you or whatever, those are the things that you need to look at and heal and be able to see. Like, well, why do I feel like that? Why would I think God hates me? And why would I think, and you think God hates you is because you know your truth. This is what you can't get away from. This is what I try and say. You can't get away from you. Like, people who think like God's going to give them absolution, like, oh yes, my child, everything's fine. You did that. Oh, it's fine. I don't care. Is like, that won't make a difference, because you're going to still feel it on the inside. On the inside, you're going to feel like a rotten son of a bitch. You're going to be so mad at yourself. You can't believe you did that. You can't believe how you looked at it. You can't, you drive yourself crazy. That's why you have to go through the healing process of learning how to forgive yourself, forgiving shame and forgiving guilt and stuff. And that is such a big thing too with the death of a child, the death of anybody, but the ones that are the hardest to get over, which I do agree on that. But I had this woman who told me, like, you can get over everything in life except for the death of a child. And I was like, well, anything that you're going through, you don't want to be stuck. And you don't want to set that up. Well, you can't get over that. You can get over anything. You can control anything. And why would somebody think like the person who passed would want that responsibility in your life, that you could never get over it? Your whole life was just turned to shit because this person died. How would that make the person who left feel? Like, it would make them feel bad. Nobody wants to be such a bad effect on somebody. So it's not like you're doing this service to the person that passed by keeping them in your mind and keeping yourself miserable. You're more doing a disservice by making their exit the thing that destroyed your life. Because everything is about us being able to pick up the pieces and rebuild, and to be able to get over things. And it is so much, I think, with the death of anybody, but people get so stuck on shame and guilt and looking at like, I should have done this different. I should have done that different. I wish I would have done this. If I would have known, if I could have done this, if I would have seen. Yeah. That's why I said there's so much learning when you look backwards, but you have to also go through it with going through with a fine-tooth comb, but you also have to wear gloves. You have to be able to take it off. You can't just be overwhelmed by that stuff. You have to be able to replay and see it and learn from it, but you can't get stuck in it. It's like quicksand, and it will pull you in, and that dark energy will hold you down. And now I was seeing people like, is depression really a dark spirit, like a demon or something? I was like, people want to call everything demons and devils, but yes, it's dark energy that attaches to you, and that's why It's not that easy to get off. And when you are super depressed, how you gotta, you know, this dark energy is gonna keep holding you down. It's gonna keep holding you. You called it in. And so now it's gonna hold you back. And so you gotta bust free from it. You gotta, that's why I said doing things that are more effective, like definitely turn on the lights, open the shades. A lot of people get depressed and sad, and they close in on themselves, close everything. Everything becomes darkness. And so you got to bring in the light, turn on happy music, make yourself get up and dance. It's crazy, but you know, motion begets motion, and it creates emotion. And you put on happy music and you start dancing around, you're going to start feeling happier. That right away, the room's going to start seeming more shiny. It's going to seem more bright because that dark energy is receding. So the more that you take uh, affirmative action in your desires to feel better, then the more action you take, the more that you will be able to be effective. So you want to, you know, turn on happy stuff, do things that make you feel happy. You know, a lot of times people will go and put on things that make them feel super sad, but that's okay in the process because it brings up all these emotions and you cry and you expel all these emotions and stuff. But you also got to be setting free the pain inside of you. It can't just be emptiness. You got to really be working on setting things free. And so letting go of things, not holding on to things. And so many people feel like that they have to hold on to things. They got to stay, you know, strong and true to themselves and stuff. But it's way better just to let go of things. You'll feel lighter. The more you hold on to, the heavier you're going to feel. And the heaviness is darkness too. And so it's like a burden, becomes a burden to hold on to stuff. So you got to just let it go. And that is freedom. That is be free. Let things go. And, you know, because it is hurting you. You're holding on to old resentment and anger, especially if you're holding on to it to yourself. So when you are trying to heal like shame and guilt and stuff like that, you got to move through it. You can't just keep replaying it, and beating yourself up. You know, it will just get darker and darker. That's why there will be a lot of mass people exiting in that certain way here coming up because people will get so stuck. But remember that nobody can leave unless that's the way they were going to leave. You can't leave in a different way. There's a set time of being birthed and a set time of the exit. And and you can't trick it. You can't leave early. Like people are always thinking, well, they left early. No, that's how they were always going to leave. And then it's, you know, when they get to their life review and they have to go back over it and see and look at like, why did I do that? How did I get there? You know, and there's a lot more to it too, because we are all having these things happen to us so that we can learn. So it's not just about their lessons. We have our own lessons. And so it's not just like, oh, well, they'll see, you know, they shouldn't have done that to themselves and now they have to be over there and they'll see. But what you need to be seeing is your attitude, you know, and then question your attitude. Well, why would I be so hateful about that? Why would I think that they deserve punishment? Why, you know, go in deeper? It can be, you know, you were punished for something, or it can be anything like from past lives and stuff. So it's just important to just go deeper into your emotions, try and understand yourself more, the complexity of self, try and decipher yourself and why you do the things you do and what you're trying to accomplish when you're doing it. What is it you're trying to get? And that's when you start noticing your own toxicity, you know, when you really are honest with yourself and you see like you know, you notice like you are manipulative at times. You're trying to get somebody to do something because it benefits you. And there's just a lot of things where that we gotta just, I don't know, let go of things. Stop trying to control others. Stop trying to get people to learn how to do things for ourselves. Learn how to make ourselves feel better. Learn how to, uh, it's just like a fully developing yourself. It's just looking at yourself, but not in a self-indulgent way, not in an artificial, superficial way. Like that is something that is going to really be a big switch in our society. Because I was seeing like all these girls with all this fake injection. Like there's so much fakeness of all these girls who are like, oh, I'm so pretty because, you know, all their makeup and stuff. And the step down from having to remove that, that's like taking off a mask. It's taking off like getting off your crutches. And, because you put that stuff on because you don't think you're pretty enough. Then a lot of people start feeling like, oh, well, see, I look good like this. And so they become dependent on that. But that dependency is what we're breaking free from. So they are going to have to go through that to get to this point of just learning how to love themselves. And that is going to be, it's going to be crazy how hard it's going to be for so many women. And like I had said, there's so many now, all of a sudden, red hair, red hair, red hair. Everybody's dyeing their hair red. Everybody thinks that, you know, I don't know. There's just, there's the artificial side and then the natural side. The artificial side's going to keep falling apart. You know, everybody's going to keep going more towards that. So there's girls that are going to be like, you know, think they're super hot stuff with all their makeup on. But then when they have to start taking that off, that is going to be a huge jump. Like Pamela Anderson, like it wasn't hard for her. She went out and was like, no, this is who I am. And she had role models. She said like the women in France, they were a lot more barefaced. And so she appreciated that and wanted to be more barefaced than be so made up. And but that is going to be the trend. That is where it's going to go, in that direction of so many women having to let go of that and take that part of themselves off. But it's so deep in, like we have so many women so deep in that. And then it also so much coming out about that industry and the toxicity and like they're poisoning people. Like there's so much on all the different things. So all the different things have to keep, you know, coming to the surface, and we have to just keep seeing it. But it's all this, you know, reevaluation for how you feel about it, not how, you know, like, you know, how do you feel about the brother and sister getting married? Like, yeah, to me, there's so much stuff too. It's like, I don't know. A lot of stuff is just none of my business. It's like, I'm not going to go and send money to your GoFundMe. Like, I don't need you to go, whatever, you know, make this a thing. But whatever you're here to learn and experience, and it's like, you know, there's so much stuff that's out of our hands, and we can drive ourselves crazy. And that is, I think, a part of the religion thing too, is to feel like that you should be able to go in and control everybody else as well. They shouldn't be able to do that. Well, they shouldn't be able to do that. But really, I mean, it's none of our business. It's like, that's between them and the universe. And it's so much bigger too, like to see what is spread. And right now, the universe is going to start spreading what it wants spread. Like the light is going to start going. And right now it is like just the dark purging up. And to me, that seems like a darkness in our society. Like there's something broken, a fetish. Like, yeah, you love your siblings, but why would you want to marry them and all be intimate with them and stuff? Like, that's like, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like a fetishy or something. There's like this huge part of our society that's just become so impulsive and just whatever, just try it. It sounds good. Like, oh yeah, this teacher was doing this interview. I think I talked about him before, but I just saw it again. And this teacher's just like asking the kids at the end of the year, like, oh, so what are you gonna do? And blah, 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 what do you think? And stuff. And this kid just starts talking about he wants to murder. He just really likes murder. And she starts asking him, so how do you know about this murder and stuff? He goes, well, I watched it on TV. First time I watched it, I just was really like, that's what I wanted to be. I'm going to do murder. And it just keeps saying all this stuff. It's like so creepy. I mean, just saying it just like he's just talking about, going and playing with puppies or something. Like, dude, you don't have any, it's very creepy. And then, the what was the other one? Because I just was seeing another one. Oh, because there's this news thing, and there's a book this guy has written, I mean, called Long Haul or something, and the news report that was, because they talked to this author too, but the story that's going on is there's 850 dead women, and they think there's 450 serial killer truckers or something. And I'll share the thing, the footage, the video, but they think there's a whole lot of serial killer truckers, and maybe it's 450. I don't know. I can't even think of what the number thing was. 850 dead women, 450 is, yeah, I don't remember. I'll have to share it. But anyways, they're saying that there's a lot of killer truckers, and they show a map of like all of these women, and they talk about how easy it is for truckers to do that, and how all these women are available, and they're all these women who are all from a traffic situation, and they have to work these yards and these truck stops and shit, and then they go missing so they can take them, and then they cross so many state lines that they can take them, hurt them in different, and then dump them in different ones. And so this is becoming so prevalent. And so they're talking about truckers' mental health, and truckers have their own little reality. See how there's realities inside of realities inside of realities. Like, if you were in that reality, you'd be in a totally different reality. And so, and then it's like they're hunting what is easy. And that is like this mentality to humans. That's why I was saying yesterday, I think that we're going to lose this hunter mentality kind of thing. I don't think we're going to be like eating meat and stuff like that. We're not going to be out like where a lot of people want to have farms and stuff. Like, I think we'll still go through that, but as we evolve, it's going to pull more and more. Like, the more, okay, so it's more like all these people going and getting little farms and stuff. So that was going to be a big part of our, as we go through this growth period, a lot of people becoming independent, not going to corporations for food, not going to, buying our food in this big, it'd be more farmers market, growing your own food and stuff like that. But the more that people have animals on their farms, like cows and pigs and stuff, like they may get them and think like they're going to use them for food, but there will be more and more of the people beginning to have relationships with the animals, and all of a sudden not seeing the animals as something they want to murder and eat, as being something they want to enjoy and care for. So there's going to be that kind of as people grow. So it'll be kind of a natural evolution, how it goes down, like this stepping away from meat and killing things and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be like super, I don't think it's going to be like forced on people either, because there's a thing about the learning and the growing. So it will go through the different stages it's supposed to go through for different people, because there's a lot of people who already have that inside of them that already feel that way. And so there will be a lot of, there will be a distinction in how things play out. And as the food service dwindles away in how people reestablish themselves and taking care of themselves and feeding themselves and stuff. And but it will be in an evolution too, because like I said, I think that we get more to this pill thing. This, take a pill and you can take it like on the Jetsons or something, and maybe the pill tastes like a cheeseburger, but it's really just gives you all the nutrition you need. Like you just take a pill, there's minerals only. It has some kind of a thing that makes you feel like you've eaten a meal. Like it gives you in your mind, it hits all of your things. I don't know. There's something that's what they try and do. Something with the kidneys or something, the kidney cells or something. There's something that they try and do, but with our food, with their making the addiction stuff and stuff, which there's more people now who are seeing ingredients lists in other countries and seeing all of the stuff that is they're putting in ours isn't like even same companies like Kellogg's. Like even if you go and get Fruit Loops in Canada, they use real fruit, and here we have red dye, blue dye, like, and there they use like watermelon stuff. So anyways, and there's more stuff with fake watermelons coming out, or all of the food, because whatever it is they're doing, genetic interference and stuff. And something this morning that got me too was like I went and got some Celtic salt and I was drinking my water, and I was like just sitting here drinking my salt water in the morning. That's so weird how, like, back when I was so young, and I said, well, we have all this salt water. How could we ever have a water shortage? Like, what about all the oceans? And then people will be like, oh, no, you can't drink salt water. You can't drink that water. It will dehydrate you. It will kill you. That's what happens all the time on people when they get in shipwrecks and they're out in their boats and they can't drink the salt water because they'll die because they get dehydrated. And so, I was like, okay, so, and we're out spinning in space in the glow, it's like one of those stories. And so, this morning when I was drinking it, and I'm thinking, so we were supposed to drink, sewage water, because they can't even fucking get well water for us. Any cities that have well water is like lucky, because most of us are on sewage water. And then, but now as we, go forward, now it's like, oh, but we got to add our minerals in. So we got to drink out of a copper cup, so we get minerals. Then we've got to add in, all these people add in all this sea moss and all this stuff from the ocean, and then the mineral salts. So they go to like Baja or whatever, they get the water, they get the salts out, and then they get the minerals, all this salt, they separate it, and then they sell us the salt to put in our water. Like, well, shouldn't we just cut out the middleman? Should we just be fucking using the goddamn ocean water? Doesn't it have the stuff that we need? Like, this is really kind of ridiculous. Like, and to think that we have any kind of a water shortage when we have, like, nature provides. And so, I don't know. We just got to do the math on some of this stuff. Like, I don't know, put two and two together. Is there's something up, especially when you know how much of everything was lies. Well, of course they want us to use their goddamn sewage water. They don't want us to be fucking using the ocean. And then there's people who figured out how to have cars that drive around on water. And they don't like that either. It's like, they want us on their petroleum. They even put petroleum in our clothes. So, like, there's so much weirdness. And more of the weird stories too. Well, it's dinosaur bones were drawn out, which now, if you go and look at that stuff with the Himalayan salt and the caves that they get it out of, it's like they're just going inside of giants and cutting out their insides and bringing it out, and it's all salty, and then we're eating it. It's like this world everything was so much bigger. Everything has gone so much smaller in the more density. But see, that is where I said this expansion happens, where we go into this caricature thing where everything expands and becomes bigger. it is almost like we go back to being huge, but everything is all in reference. So there's always something bigger and there's always something smaller. But there is an expansion of humanity, of mankind, and this elaboration of us going from this density into this animation kind of way of being, and is becoming your bigger self. It's like I said, it's like you coming out of your shell, like this bigger self. You've been contained. That's weird. It's like when you're born, it's almost like the shell is put around you. You create the shell around you to protect yourself. I'm telling you too, that has so much to do with why people gain weight. It's to protect themselves. It's to cushion themselves from the pain of people hurting them. But then they start feeling like they're hurting themselves. Like their body will start telling them. They'll tell them out of guilt. They'll tell them out of shame. They'll tell them out of health issues. So that is where you got to learn to listen to your body when it's talking to you, and to give it respect and be an observation of self. And so when you respect yourself, of course, you're going to start taking care of yourself, taking better care of yourself, trying to be your best self, your true self. You know, you're everything. So anyways, the that is the challenges too. But that is where mankind really did step up. Mankind really did start evolving. They really did start showing this other side, and how we evolved past these people who have been in charge of the habitat. We developed, and like it doesn't do them any favors to stay alive for this long extended time through this period of learning. And so because now we're going to be able to stay in this long extended time, but it's like a graduation. It's like you learned your stuff, and you know you learned your stuff because you can go through this process. But when you learned your stuff, then you can go through this going and just living your life. Like Allison Coe put up a video yesterday. It was after I finished video recording yesterday morning, or I would have talked about it. But this video, this woman, she was to me, it was realms and realities. This woman's going in the inner earth. She's going and she flies around on a dragon, and she goes and sees people who she already knew. She was going and talking to people who seemed like they were from a different time, like Italy from a different time. So that's what I'm saying. Everything is like not all together like how we keep trying to put it all together. You gotta look at it as is like Grimm's fairy tale book, and each page is a different story. So think of the world, the universe, as like a Grimm's fairy tales book, and each one is a different story. So that's what it's more like than all this cohesive, like everything is this. It's not that. And so the fairy tales, the stories, the crazy stories with all of the different kind of characters and different realities and different experiences. But it seemed like there was something else I was going to say. But yeah, another thing too, like I still feel like this, stay off the highways, but stay out of the water too. Like there's weird shit with the water. It still seems like there's something that's trying to get our attention. I saw this video, I thought it was so weird. And this family, and they've got a little kid and stuff. This family is like in the water, and then they start saying, oh, there's a shark. And they start filming it. The shark is just right there. It's just right there. And they're just filming it and just acting. And so then I'm like, okay, so the dad, the water's like up to his waist. He's holding the baby. So maybe they just feel like, oh, there's no way that shark could come over here and get us. It's like, I don't know. It seemed like to me like, are y'all oblivious? Do you guys not have a thing about survival? Like, is that not clicked in you? And you're just going to stand there? You don't feel danger? as this shark is swimming around you. Like, I don't know, it seems wacky to me. But that is the thing. There's going to be more craziness, because this is the time where all these people keep going to the ocean where this is going on. I even in the somebody was answering a comment, and the people are like, "Well, I'm going on vacation there in a few weeks. You think it's still going to have a problem?" This is like when all these people are going to Hawaii, like during this big crisis, which the Hawaiians have been sticking together and really fighting against this, what they're trying to do. And that's what it's all about, is us all coming together and going in this fight in the right way, going, as a team. It's like all of us getting on the same team and recognizing who the opponent is, and all of us standing strong, holding on to one another gives us strength, and they can't push us around when we all have each other. And that's why they want to keep us all divided in every way possible. They don't want anybody to get along. And so it's up to us, to recognize and to push forth and to see wherever it is you can't get along with people. That's because your biases, and that's because of your programming. And it's up to you to break free from that, because that is what we're doing on the planet right now, is this evolution away from your biases into unity, so that you can love and accept everybody. And in the process, before you can love and accept anybody else, you have to be able to learn how to love yourself. It's impossible to love anybody if you don't love yourself. And anybody who even goes and gets married and they don't love themselves, they're wanting this other person to give them the love that they think they need or deserve or whatever. So they're putting it all on this other person. And so it's not that they love themselves and that's why they're starting this new relationship. No, they just want this other person to make them feel better. That's how toxic our world has become. And, I'm not going to like myself. I'm going to hate myself. But, it's up to you to make me feel good. It's like, but I can't. So anyways, that's why we all have to learn how to love our own selves. You got to learn how to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.